Hello and welcome to Wednesday Debate Live with Taghreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. Well, tonight we'll be talking a very important and an interesting topic while bidding farewell to a year full of achievements and welcoming a new year with positivity and lists of resolutions and good wishes. Well, tonight we'll be shedding light on Egypt's health sector that had received unprecedented attention not only throughout 2022, but also over the past 8 years, with the state launching under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi a package of urgent services. Along with shedding light on Egypt's efforts and the keenness on improving this important sector and also achievements for our universities, we'll be focusing on one of the landmarks in Egypt's healthcare achievements tonight. And it was really good news, and it was great that we would start, as 2023 is approaching, we'll start the new year with a declaration of a great success. Few days ago, Professor Dr. Mahmoud Metini, president of Ain Shams University, had declared the success of the first lung transplant from a living donor inside Ain Shams specialized hospital, which is a new medical achievement in the field of organ transplantation. We are having all the honor and pride tonight of hosting His Excellency Professor Dr. Mahmoud Metini, President of Ain Shams University, and we congratulate him on this big achievement. Many happy returns, Dr. Metini, for a new year, and hopefully this is going to be like a launching pad for more successes to come.
Well, thank you very much for having me with you tonight in this very important interview, and I'm really honored to be with you. And let me wish you and all your audience a very happy new year and all the best in the coming year.
All the best in the coming year for Egypt under the leadership of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Lots and lots has been achieved. Well, knowing more about the success of the first of its kind lung transplant from a living donor, this is definitely an achievement in itself as Egypt continues to build capabilities and experience in this important file. We're really honored to host Professor Metini today, and Professor Dr. Mahmoud Metini is the president of Ain Shams University as of August 2019. He was previously the dean of the Faculty of Medicine at Ain Shams University. That was until July 2019. And he obtained his master's, then doctorate degrees in general surgery from Ain Shams University back in 1989 and 1993. He received his training as a transplant fellow in Cochin University Hospital, that was in Paris, in France, between 1990 and 1992, where he completed his doctorate thesis in experimental and clinical aspects of liver transplantation. Back in 92, he spent 1 year as a registrar in general surgery at St. Louis University Hospital in Paris, France, and he initiated and directed the first living liver transplant program that was both in adults and pediatrics, that was in Cairo, Egypt. In 2008, he founded the Ain Shams Center for Organ Transplant in Ain Shams University and performed the first liver donor living transplantation in adults and the first dual liver and kidney donor living transplantation. I know that this is so much dear to your heart, yes. Professor. As I speak, I can see that it brings about dear memories.
Yes, sure.
To your heart.
It's a long history.
It's a long history
with a lot of struggles, you know, as
challenges.
Usual, yeah.
But definitely the sky is always the limit. The sky is always the limit, as His Excellency the President is also taking care of the differently abled. And this has been the story of the day. Earlier in the day, President Sisi had participated in the 4th differently abled ceremony in order to empower the people of determination. Where there is a will, there is always a way. The President participated in the differently abled ceremony to empower people of determination. The ceremony came under the slogan, "We have a place," and it is held annually to empower people of determination who represent more than 10% of the population. During the ceremony, the president welcomed a request by one of the differently abled women to hold a ceremony hosting people of determination from the Arab countries and the whole world, stating that the people of determination do not only have a place, but they are owners of the place. The president launched 2 initiatives to ensure the integration of people of determination into the society, and announced a number of directives to empower the youth, and assigned also the Ministry of Social Solidarity to launch the Comprehensive Services Card for People of Determination. The president ordered also the Ministry of Housing to take into consideration the special needs of people of determination and set a quota for them in the housing projects. Definitely also it was there including them in higher education, sports, and coordinating to launch the differently abled companions initiatives in schools and in universities and in youth centers. And the head of state concluded his speech stressing that the people of determination inspire us with positive energy, with their strong determination and with their spirit of challenge. Dr. Metini, as we've witnessed all earlier in the day, the president at this important day, the head of state loves this day because definitely it brings this sense of bond and great memories. And as we say, that where there is a will, there is always the way. They are, of course, today included in schools, in universities. I know that Ain Shams University definitely supports the state vision in that respect.
Absolutely. And let me start by saluting His Excellency the President and really appraising all what he's doing in this aspect. I was really stunned today by the amount of love, passion that he showed to our disabled young girls and boys, and making it a habit at the same date every year. I think this is unprecedented acts by President, not only in Egypt, but I suppose worldwide. And it really worked, his vision and his idea to include, under the big term of inclusion, and they are included, as you said, in the schools, in the universities, in the workforce, everywhere in Egypt now. And let me tell you, because we have 3 centers for disabled, and one in Faculty of Arts, and one central, and one in what we call the Faculty of Pediatrics, or it's not only pediatric, but it's for the young at large. And the 3 centers work together, and let me tell you that we were all surprised by the amount of capabilities that were hidden, and by this way we uncovered a lot of talents that were not seen enough and were not used enough and were not invested in enough. And by this kind of acts, actually now we are uncovering the talents, we are pushing them to the workforce, and it's really new life for them and for us. They are inspiring for us as usual.
Yes, very inspiring, and this is really inspirational that you find the head of state throwing his weight behind such noble acts and noble deeds. Definitely it's an example to be followed by also all the leaders in the country. Professor Metini, from this sense of success, a great story of success, to another, as Egypt's first whole lung transplant was completed successfully. The story behind it.
Well, in Ain Shams University, we have, as you said, in 2007, actually not in 2008, we started the first organ transplant center. It's not only liver or kidneys or lungs, it was done and started by the vision of organ transplant. It's true that we didn't have in Egypt until just 2 weeks ago, except the kidneys and the liver being transplanted from the living donor. We didn't start any cadaveric donors in Egypt, although the law allows it and permits it and even regulates it, but it's not launched until now. So what we have been doing over the past 20 years, living donor liver transplant, and over the last 30, 35 years, living donor kidney transplants. So the only organ that we are able worldwide to transplant it from a living donor was the lung, the only organ staying.
Yeah.
Of course, the heart or the pancreas or the small bowel, we need the cadaveric. We cannot do this from a living donor. So we took the initiative 4 years ago, and we took the decision actually when I was still a dean of the Faculty of Medicine, with a very prosperous young team in thoracic surgery and chest diseases, ICU, intensive care unit, and anesthesia, a real multidisciplinary team to prepare them, and it was their initiative. They approached me and asked me, well, you've done a lot for the organ transplant, now the turn has come for the lungs.
Yeah.
So I said, can we do lung transplant? Because lung, of course, is a critical organ. They told me, yes, but we need 2 donors, not only a single donor. In the kidneys and the liver, we need a single donor for a recipient, for a patient. In the lung, living lung transplant, we need 2 living donors for a single patient. So you can imagine 3 operations running simultaneously, and in 3 operating room by 3 surgical teams and anesthetic teams. It's really a big thing to do and a big endeavor to consider. So I was really thrilled by the idea, and I gave them all the support when I was the dean. And we said, well, it was end of 2018, beginning of 2019. By the end of 2019, we need around 1 year to prepare ourselves, because we had the infrastructure, we had the unit in the NCHAM Specialized Hospital, and some few things were missing, and we were able to get it very rapidly. But we need to prepare them, to train them, to be confident enough that, because it's not a matter of operation, it's a matter of starting a program.
Exactly.
If we, a real program, we'll speak about a kidney transplant program, a liver transplant program, a lung transplant program, all in the under the umbrella of an organ transplant organ. Because if we consider for a single operation, it will be an absolute failure. And others have tried this just to do an operation for the propaganda of it, or for the, you know, to say that we are capable.
For the newsy part of this.
Yes, and this will end by failure. I believe in program, and I believe in a teamwork, a multidisciplinary, with different specialities involved in the big specialty, and working together, get trained, the passion, and even not only the doctors, the nursing staff, the technicians, technician staff, the supporting service, and everything. But we tried to be ready by the end of 2019, but then came the COVID, and it freezed everything in the world. They received 3 months training in Japan, in Kyoto, and another 2 or 3 months in Riyadh, in Faisal Specialized Hospital. In Riyadh and in the Middle East, there is no living lung transplant, but there is a cadaveric transplant where they can get trained in the anesthesia and in the supporting services. But in Kyoto, it's the #1 center for this specialty and this kind of treatment. So when they came back and we tried, we couldn't start because of the COVID, because everything was, even the elective operations, the usual one, we freezed it for around 5 to 6 months there. So we lost 1 year, and then 2021 we regained the momentum and tried to work more and more. And by the end of beginning of 2022, I convened with them, and they were still passionate, but I felt that things have cooled a little bit, and you know, the pace has
we need to re-energize them.
And I give them a straightforward, I don't want to say order, but I would say an agreement that within the coming 6 months we need to start the very first operation. We invested in you, we invested in the team, we invested in the infrastructure. Patients are dying, patients need this in Egypt, there is no alternative up till now, and we need to start. They said, okay, but give us some time, and so on. And then I said, October 2022 will be the first case. They tried to get ready, and they got the patient ready, but as I told you, we need 2 donors to start.
Yes.
And one of the donors for the very first patient retreated the night of the operation, just 1 night before the operation, and he or she said that, well, I'm reluctant now to donate. And we give the absolute freedom for all living donors, whether liver or lung or kidney, that they can back up at any point of time, because it's the right. You and I can, you know, we can change our mind, even for a brother or a sister or something like this. So the first patient was declined, So we prepared another patient, which was not an easy patient, and this was a patient that has been done on the 14th of December. Now, today is 2 weeks exactly. 28 years old young lady in a desperate condition, dying in the ICU, oxygen dependent whenever she goes out of the ICU, and really needs the operation, otherwise she will die. And two brothers who are very much motivated, and I would like to salute them and to greet them because they are really very courageous, and they were very passionate and very supportive for their sister. And the idea is to get one lobe, the lower lobe in the left lung and the lower lobe in the right lung, one from each donor. And in the patient, we remove the two lungs and we implant one lobe in the right, replacing the right lung, the whole right lung replaced by lobe, and one lobe replacing the left lung. And we invited our dear friend, Professor Hiroshi from Japan, who is the mentor of our team, to come over for 48 hours, not to operate, but to coach, to audit the whole program and the center and the team and everything. And he was really surprised by the quality of work they are providing and the support.
What did he tell you, Professor, after?
I will send you the letter. I will send you the
team.
letter I had just yesterday.
Great.
It's really very encouraging, and it's an audit for the whole. It's not only, of course, he mentioned something about the operation, and he was very happy about the result and our quality.
We're always proud of our Egyptian calibers and surgeons and cadres.
Yes, yes. And he said that even if this difficult operation, and he confessed that it was a difficult operation, done in Kyoto, which is the highest expertise in the world in this field, we couldn't have done better. And I'm really proud of my team. I'm really proud of Dr. Ahmed Mustafa, Dr. Mohammed Hussein as surgeons, Dr. Ahmed Al-Nouri as an elder surgeon with them, and the younger surgeons, and the anesthesia and ICU team, Dr. Adel Ansari and his colleagues, Dr. Hana. I want to mention all the names to greet them, because they are the heroes behind this great endeavor. And I think it's the start of a successful program, and this is what's important about it. It's not about the operation. Of course, we are always concerned about the patient and we wish her all the best. The two donors, by the way, went out of the hospital in a very good condition.
How are they doing?
They are doing great, and they are back to their work within 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum, without any medications, without any problems. And this is a success in its own.
Thank God, of course.
Because the donor even the donor is a big operation. Now, for the recipient, she's still in the ICU, but she's getting better day after day, and I think things will go better in the good way. And I hope that she will be out of the ICU intensive care unit to a normal room in our unit within the coming 2 to 3 days. I hope so.
Oh, hopefully, inshallah. Well, Professor, what's important about it, and I'm glad that you've mentioned, of course, the vision through a teamwork that has been prepared. This is very important that we would work.
Couldn't work otherwise.
Exactly, in a team, and to work on the strong points of the team and investing in the team. Well, how far will this operation open like a new stage in this kind of surgery, not only in Egypt, but in the Arab world and in Africa?
Well, as I told you, the transplant practice, organ transplant at large, is not existing in the Arab world and the Middle East in many centers. In Egypt, we transplanted over the last 20 years around 6,000 livers in different centers. We have the highest score with our group. And in kidneys, we something like 30,000 over the last 35 to 40 years. This again in more than 30 centers. Lung transplant, I think we must concentrate at least in our center, and we shouldn't go in other centers before building enough experience. Because if you go and open a large number of centers with a small amount of expertise, short period expertise, you will have bad results, and you cannot continue like that. You need to do tens and hundreds of cases to have a cumulative experience. And to do this, you need to concentrate one team in one center, and mainly university centers, especially when it comes to lung and later heart and so forth, to build this needed experience to have the best result with the least cost. Speak about the region, Saudi Arabia have got now, in the living donor, we are the highest figure in the whole Middle East and Africa, but they started the cadaveric program since 1996 with the Gulf states. You know, they have the 6 Gulf states or countries cooperating with each other, and they are exchanging organs. So you don't have many patients in Emirates or in Kuwait or in Qatar, so they give their cadaveric donors and they ship it to Saudi Arabia, mainly to King Faisal Hospital, which now is a very big center for transplantation, coached by my friend Professor Dieter Breuning from Germany. He's the one who's coaching the center in King Faisal. Tunisia and Morocco, Algeria, I don't think there is a real program. Tunisia, they've done few cases, cadaveric, few 2 or 3 heart cases, 1 or 2 lung cases. Same situation in Morocco, and I think that's it. There is no other transplant centers in the region. Even Lebanon, they started 1 or 2 cases and then they stopped because, of course, of the situation there. In Africa, it's Egypt and South Africa, the only 2 countries performing organ transplant at large. But in South Africa, they have a big cadaveric program. And we have been approached by 3 African countries to Ain Shams University through the AAU, which is the African Association of University, where I'm a member of board by post, because I'm the president of Ain Shams University. Yeah. I'm the only Egyptian one in this board. So we offered our expertise and our support for our friends. 400, this association comprises 400 African universities, and we said on the board that we can offer this expertise and we share it with them and go and support them until they can do it alone. And Ain Shams have done this with different Egyptian universities, so now the turn has come to go and do the same thing with African colleagues, and we do this really with great happiness. And we have been approached from 3 centers in Africa, and we are now taking the steps to start there.
Yeah, that's great news. You know, this sense of cooperation, also transcending barriers at exactly 7 o'clock in the morning, and in the presence of the large medical team consisting of the different departments. The patient was prepared and entered the operations in order to perform the first lung transplant from a living donor in Egypt. Such a success definitely is going to open the way and give a glimmer of hope also to many Egyptians, saving hundreds of lives. We'll be talking more about the story of success, but let's see the highlights first in this report.
After years of preparation, Egyptian doctors performed the first whole lung transplant in Egypt and the first in the Middle East from a living donor at Ain Shams Hospital in Cairo, ushering in a new era in the field of organ transplantation. More than 25 doctors and other nursing and accompanying staff participated in the operation, with preparation that lasted for 2 full months. The operation was performed in 3 surgery rooms in parallel by medical specialists in the fields of chest pathology, thoracic surgery, anesthesia, and cardiovascular field. The patient, Sahar, a 30-year-old woman who suffered respiratory failure, received 2 lung lobes donated by her 2 brothers. Her condition is reported as stable, and she remains under observation in intensive care. It's worth mentioning that the participating doctors started preparing for such an operation 4 years ago through training in Japan, but progress was slowed by the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Dr. Khaled Abdel Ghaffar, Minister of Health and Population, the field of organ transplantation in Egypt is expected to witness an unprecedented qualitative leap. Abdel Ghaffar confirmed that the establishment of a world-class center for organ transplantation in the heart of the integrated medical city at the Nasser Institute in Cairo consolidates Egypt's position as a regional hub for organ transplantation. The minister also revealed that the ministry is seeking to develop legislation that would allow the recently deceased to donate their organs. No doubt this operation is a good sign for many cases and a glimmer of hope to save hundreds of lives in Egypt. Transplantation in Egypt began for the first time in 1978 with kidney transplants. It was followed 20 years later by the first liver transplant in 2001. Today, more than 5,400 liver transplants have been completed.
Well, Your Excellency, we were talking about the story of success and this 7 o'clock timing when it started. Tell me more about the backstage. Phone calls to you in the early morning. How did it go?
Personally, I'm accustomed to this because this has been my life over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Not many phone calls the day of the operation. Everybody has to be
But when something is the first of its kind is happening.
Yeah, but a lot of preparation the days before the operation. The day exactly before the operation, the 2 or 3 days before, and you know, the whole week or 10 days before, it's really stressing, especially when it's the first time and we want real success.
Yeah.
We are facing, we all consider that we are all facing this challenge, and it will not be a piece of cake. It will not be as easy as we are very much accustomed for the liver, for the kidneys, but and I think it will stay stressing for at least 10 to 20 cases. It's always like that until everybody get the habit and it's and the custom and get to work at ease for it. Yes, we start usually the anesthesia 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning, because it takes from the anesthetic team at least 1 to 2 hours to get the patient ready to invite the surgeons to come in and start operation. And in this case, the donors were not anesthetized and were not incised except when the team is really confident that the patient has been put to sleep peacefully and safely, because anything could happen during the induction, because this patient have got a severe pulmonary hypertension that is increased in the blood pressure in the pulmonary circulation. This is her main disease, together with fibrosis or inflammatory fibrosis in the lung. And this was the main advice of the Japanese professor, that no incision in the donor except when we are confident that the patient has been put to sleep safely and we can start incising the patient start working, then the donors will put in. So there is sort of coordination between the patient room and the donor. And this also happens in the liver. We always coordinate, we always communicate. Yes, there are 2 teams, but there is always a messenger between the 2 rooms, and here between the 3 rooms to tell everybody where are we, at what point are we. And this kind of communication is very important, and I was very punctual. There is no room for mistakes in it, because the time that we decide to take off from the donor the organs and to go on the back table, what we call the back table, to wash them with the preservative solution to be ready to be implanted, the patient should be ready at this point of time with her 2 lungs out, for example, ready for implantation. So it's a very strategic plan that we go and we discuss it usually as a team, whether it's liver, whether it's lungs, or in the future other organs, several times before going into the OR and before the day of the operation. And of course it becomes a banality and source of habit after. That's why gaining experience and working so many cases in a single center is very important. It's not really beneficial for anybody, but it could be even harmful if you go and make some scattered cases here and there. You cannot build up an experience like that. It's a painful practice, but it's rewarding for everybody, rewarding for the patients, rewarding for the medical team, rewarding for the community at large.
Of course.
And rewarding for the country, because experience have proved beyond any doubt that the healthcare facility in which an organ transplantation is being done it really raises up, you really raise the bar, you really go up in the standard at all levels, whether you speak about medical practice, surgery, anesthesia, blood bank, clinical pathology, which is the lab work, radiology, nursing staff. Everybody has to be up to it and really working in no mistake atmosphere or ambience, as we say, and this is not easy in our country, and you raise the level. So this is the gains of, it's not only, of course, the top priority is the patient safety, and we save the life of the patient. It's a patient-centered practice. Yeah. But there are some byproducts that is very important, as I said, for the team, for the healthcare facility, for the country, and for the community.
Definitely it is. We have more than one rewards here, and it is always such important success stories also definitely contribute to branding Egypt globally. And it's very important that it shows also in the limelight the professionalism and the standard of our surgeons and how far we are really capable of doing the impossible, as let me say. Professor Metini's leadership and administrative philosophy pivots on team building and individual empowerment. And this is very important, as definitely according to the presidential vision, investing in the human being and a better quality of life for Egyptians. Yeah. To have the better quality of life, we need to invest in the human being, the Egyptian.
Absolutely.
How are we doing that at Ain Shams University?
As you said, this is the presidential vision, and again, we have to upload it endlessly. And I think this is what my beliefs even early on when I was younger, much younger than that. That I believed in teamwork, and maybe one of my passion to start an organ and to go even to train myself in France as a start, and then in Japan, and then coming back to Egypt to start the program, was that I have been always fond of the teamwork, and I like communicating with others, and I believe that big endeavors and big success and ambitions could not be accomplished without real teamwork. You cannot do big things alone. You can do some small successes alone. Yes, of course we can. But if you go to really big projects and dreams, it needs a teamwork, and it needs a passionate team and professional team, not amateurs or not, even if they're clever, they need to be professional, and they need to be a full-time job, really indulged to the maximum in their work. And to do this, we have to find these big projects to go and work all of us around
to have all hands on.
Yes, and this is really been my practicing as a surgeon, as a professor of surgery, as a team leader. I followed this philosophy, but when I arrived in 2015 for the very first time as a dean of Faculty of Medicine, and it was a big honor for me. I was really honored for such to be the dean of such a very reputable Faculty of Medicine, not only for Egypt, but really for the Middle East and Africa and Arab countries. I decided that I must go bigger in my dreams and to invest in all specialties, not only in mine or what I'm concerned with, and to really strengthen everybody who has a vision, who has a dream, who has a passion. Because of course, in any community you will find those who are passionate and really want to work and are dreamers, and those who are really commoners or usuals. So I tried to always to search for them. We have 39 departments in Faculty of Medicine. Surgery, special surgery, medicine. I search for the dreamers in as much as I can.
The dreamers are creators.
Yes.
Those who have the creative touch, those who go for their dreams.
Even if at the very first glance you think that this dream is not very realistic and it's far away, and because I've been told this at the beginning. When I came back and I wanted to start the liver transplant program in Faculty of Medicine in Shams back in the 90s,
there were many challenges.
They told me, you're a dreamer, it's impossible, we don't have the resources, and I started outside the university in Wadi Nil Hospital, and I would like you to thank Wadi Nil Hospital for the vision they had by that time. And when I succeeded there, I insisted and came back to the university and the Faculty of Medicine to start this center of organ transplant. So speak about other specialties, yes, there are lots of youth who are really courageous, and encouraged me to stand by them and to support them. And one of them is this thoracic surgery and lung transplant team. Whatever they ask for, if it is within my capabilities, I do it. And even sometimes it's beyond my capabilities, I go and ask the civil society, the government, and we can find a way to support our dreams to make it a real truth and to accomplish it. So yes, I believe in teamwork. Yes, I try to empower the youngs in the medical sector at large, whether Ain Shams and outside Ain Shams. We give a big hand to our friends in Alexandria University, in Mansoura University, in Asyut University. It's our team who started with them, and now they are autonomous and they're working alone, and it's great success and making big numbers with huge success. So I think it pays off, and this is the way that a community can progress, and a whole country can progress only by this kind of vision and philosophy that we are all following His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in.
Yes, Your Excellency, talking more of diversity, Nile TV International, of course, is the voice of Egypt to the whole world.
Yeah.
So we are definitely working with the other, understanding the other, and also interviewing the other with the different foreign community representatives in Egypt. I know that at Ain Shams University, the university also supports diversity. You have foreign students at
Yes.
Ain Shams University, and you have lots of cultural events, which is also very important in terms...
I hope that you witnessed some of them.
Yes, of disseminating this sense of awareness. It's very important.
Yeah.
I know that you're also supporting women empowerment, Professor,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Very important.
We have a unit for that.
We work hand in hand.
Yeah.
And collaborating with international universities and renowned educational institutions around the world. How are we putting this equation together?
Now, several points here. Speak about the international students.
Yeah.
It's a very important subject. And every university in the world, not only in Egypt, is working to have a certain amount of, I would say, numbers of international students. And it's a sign of success. It's a sign of success if you have more, if you succeed to attract more and more international students, African students, Arab students, East European students, and now we have some even Western European students. Yes, not a huge number, but we have few. And from India, in the Faculty of Medicine, I never have, except the last 2 or 3 years, some 100 or 120 Indian students studying medicine in our university. So it's a sign of success and sign that you're providing a good quality of education for the undergrads and for the postgrads as well, in the master and PhD degrees and in the research at large, not only for the degrees, even in the joint research. So we had something around 4,000 when I arrived in office as the president of university in August 2019, 4,000 plus. Now we are bypassing the 7,000 plus. Knowing that we have 200,000 undergrad students, which is a huge number, astronomical one that is second to none, I would say. When you say this number in the West, they go crazy because the highest figure in any university in the West is around 20, 25,000, and this is big universities. So speaking here about 200,000 students is a huge number. So if you count 7 to 8,000, it's around 4%. So 4% of our students in Ain Shams, the undergrads, are international students. And I think this was a step forward. Yes, it's not enough. We need to reach some 7 to 8% at least to be within the international norms, and we're working on it. What we are doing for them, complete integration, whether by events, by sports, cultural events, of course, in the education day-to-day life, it's a complete integration with their fellow Egyptians. Going to the second point of women empowerment. Everybody is empowering the women nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah, we cannot say anything about that, but we have a dedicated unit for women empowerment within, and it's not only in Ain Shams, it's in all public universities. It's headed by one Professor Hind al-Hilali from the Faculty of Medicine, and it's of course working hand in hand with Supreme Council for Women by Dr. Maya Morsi, and with other units, similar units from other universities. It's really doing great events and great success. But let me tell you that 54% or 55% of the faculty in university, in 20 faculties within Ain Shams University are women. And around 56 to 57% of the students and the undergrads are females. So I think the diversity and the gender equality is beyond any doubt.
Great equation.
Yes, yes.
Great equation, Professor. Many happy returns for 2023. The sky is always the limit. If I ask you, Professor Metini, about the priorities for 2023. It's great that we received the new year with a big hit and a big story of success that we did shed light on. However, what about the dreams that
Well, the dreams never stop. So let me first start by saying that 2023, I hope all the best for everybody and for our Egyptian society and for our president, the government, all institutions in Egypt, and for the Egyptian people, because the whole world is going into huge challenges, as you know, economic challenges, geopolitical challenges. We are in a difficult time. So I wish all the best, and that we can bypass this difficult time successfully and peacefully. But at the professional or at the, I would say, academic level, I hope that Ain Shams University will continue to progress, whether it comes to ranking wise, because we always aim at a better ranking. Yes, we did good in the past years, but we still have a long way to go. In the surgery, or my very dear profession, I hope that this program that just started by a single case will go on and do in 2023 15 to 20 cases at least. I would like to have something around 2 cases a month, because without this figure we cannot say that we have a real program. So again, it's not an operation, we need a successful program, and to cure as much patient as we can, whether in lung failure, liver failure, any organ failure that need a transplant of an organ, and to start maybe in 2023 the cadaveric program that has been long awaited to since 2020. You know that we struggled for 20 years before February 2010, some 12 years ago now, when the very first law for organizing the organ transplant in Egypt appeared in February 2010, and since then we have been again struggling to start the cadaveric program without success. So maybe the time has come, because the president again is backing the idea, backing the programs, and we have full support from him.
Hopefully 2023 is definitely going to be a prosperous year for Egypt and for the whole world. I thank you so much, Professor Dr. Mahmoud Metini, President of Ain Shams University. It's been a real honor celebrating with you this big success story, not only for Ain Shams University, but for Egypt as a whole and the region as well. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're really honored to have His Excellency Professor Metini. We wish Ain Shams University all success, and I wish you, dear viewers, a prosperous 2023. Tomorrow on the Daily Debate, another team. I'm Taghirit Hussein, thanking you all for watching.